there's been a lot of robots in movies, and our challenge was to do something that was sort of fresh and unique. And in the comic books, he took a couple different forms. He was at one point sort of this bio mech synthy dragon thing that could turn also into a human being with a bowler hat. And but then he also had a different kind of mech form. And while these were really, really cool and inventive, I was concerned about how it would fit in the world that we're creating. And so the first research trip I did was a robotics research trip, and it was the week that Winnie the Pooh was released in July of 2011. I was at MIT and Harvard and Carnegie Mellon. Again, just looking for inspiration. And one of our biz dev artists coined the phrase huggable robot. She's like, this robot's got to be huggable. So I was like, all right, he's got to be unique and huggable, and he's got to be everything. So I went on the road and did my research, just looking for inspiration in a huggable robot. And it was at Carnegie Mellon University. I met this guy by the name of Chris Atkinson, who is a researcher doing research into soft robotics. And I had never heard of soft robotics before, but it blew me away. And essentially what it is it's soft robots made of a material like vinyl or something pliable and filled with air. And the practical application for this technology will be in the healthcare industry in the future. There'll be robotic nurses and nurses' aides and that type of thing. And I had never seen anything like it. And Chris himself is actually a very passionate roboticist, much like we're passionate about animation. He's very passionate about robotics. And he started going off on a bit of a rant and about movies and how robots are portrayed in movies. And it's very frustrating to him that robots are always the bad guy. It's always sort of, technology run amok. And when is somebody going to put a robot on screen that's the good guy, that's the hero of the story? And it's like, I finally stopped and was like, dude, you had me at vinyl. Trust me, we won't let you down. So I was so taken by this technology that I brought it back to the studio and said, this is going to be our robot. And then it became about sort of designing Baymax. And one of the other things I learned on this trip was this idea of the Uncanny Valley. And it's essentially like when machines or robots specifically begin to get too human looking, they get super creepy. And we didn't want Baymax to be creepy. We wanted to be, cool and nice and gentle and compassionate. So I had a strong desire to keep him very simple in design. And also I felt like we have, some of the best animators on the planet, so we could give them, a paper bag and they'd be able to act with it. So, so I knew that they would be up for the challenge. So he never was intended to have a face. One of the things we did think about is, like, did we want him to have some sort of, screen where he might have a mouth that would express or anything like that? And John wasn't too keen on the idea. He just thought, the simpler you keep it, the better. And so when I was in Tokyo, I was at a temple, and I was looking up, and I saw these bells looking down at me. And I was awash with this feeling of peacefulness and calm. And that's kind of what we wanted Baymax to be, to have this effect on people. And so snapped a couple photos. I just loved that idea of kind of a circle with a line through it. And I brought it back to the studio and gave it to our character designer, Shiyun Kim, and said, there's his face. And he's like, okay, circle, circle, line, done,